Hi there makers, and welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial we'll be making this crochet summer top made from a very interesting new favorite stitch of mine. It does have some ruffles at the bottom which are absolutely optional, you don't have to add them, but I think they are cute. The pattern does have a free reading pattern which is available in all sizes, so be sure to find that in the description box below. If you'd like the paid version, you will also find the link to that in the description box below. As for the materials that we will need to achieve this beautiful crochet top, they are also linked down below. Now, let's get into the tutorial. So just a quick pause before we go anywhere. I want to invite you to quickly join our crochet classes which have just begun. If you're still learning to crochet or you do crochet and you're thinking about advancing or learning more, then I am offering crochet classes which you can join for absolute free and get 4 free PDF patterns. Join below. So to achieve this top, we'll be using a fingering weight yarn and a 4mm crochet hook. So you're going to begin by making a slip knot, and now I'm just doing this for the sake of demonstration because I have already made my crochet top. You're going to make a chain that fits around your bust area, but then you don't want the chain to meet. You want to have about 2 inches left because it does tend to stretch. So I'm just going to chain 20. And then after I've changed my 20, I'll be right back. So I just finished working on my 20 chains, and now I'm gonna chain 1 more to turn. So for the beginning, for the first row, we'll be working into those back bumps of our chain because as we're working the ruffles, we wanna have stitches to work into. And when you work into the back bumps, it makes it so much easier for you to locate those stitches. So you're just gonna turn that chain around, and then into that second chain from the hook, you're gonna go in with a single crochet, just like that. And then into that next stitch, you're going in with a double crochet. So you're just gonna yarn over like I've done here, insert your hook into the back bump, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Into that next stitch, single crochet. Into the following stitch, double crochet. So you're going to be repeating this single crochet and double crochet all the way to the end of the row. And once you reach the end of the row, just wait there and I will meet you. So pause the video and I'll meet you once we get to the end of the row. So I ended my row with a single crochet. You want to take note of the stitch you end your row with. So you're just going to chain 1 and turn. So since I ended my row with a single crochet, I'm going to be placing a double crochet on top of that single crochet. If you ended your row with a double crochet, you want to place a single crochet on top of that row. So I'm going in with a double crochet. So I just want to say a chain of 1 does not count as a stitch. So when we reach the end of the row and we chain 1 and turn, do not count that chain 1 as a stitch. So my next stitch was a double crochet, so I'm going to place a single crochet in that. So all we're doing is placing the opposite stitch from the previous row. And we're going to do this all the way to the end of the row. You're obviously going to have a much longer chain than mine. So after row 1, you also want to try on yourself and see if it fits properly. Remember, it's okay if it doesn't reach it, when you wrap it around your chest, if it doesn't touch it. Matter of fact, it shouldn't, because if it does, your top might be a little bit bigger, but you want to make sure there's about 2 inches left because you can always pull it together and your top will have that hold. So let me just get to the end of row 2 and then I'll meet you and help you get started on row 3. So I have finished row 2. To get started on row 3, chain 1 and turn. And you're going to do the very opposite. I ended with a double crochet, so my first stitch will be a single crochet followed by a double crochet. So you're going to keep on repeating row 2 up until you have a nice chunk of rows, or until when you hold your top on yourself from your bust, it reaches about your belly button. So or until you're comfortable with the length. So you go on working the rows and I will meet you at the end. So once you're done working your number of rows, you're obviously going to have a bigger chunk than me. You just want to close it in half like so, because we're about to seam the back, which is this part right here. I seamed the inside, so don't worry about that. This is going to be on the inside. No one is going to see, but that's what it looks like on the wrong side. So you're just going to fold it in half, and I'm going to use the crochet needle to close, but if you want to use a yarn needle, feel free. So I'm going to go through the side stitch of that row and into the opposite side stitch of the other row and single crochet together. And I'm going to keep on doing this, going all the way down the length of my top. So pause the video and continue doing this to close the back of your top. So once you've gotten to the end of the work, we're not going to turn the top right way around yet. We're going to proceed to work on these bottom tassels, and that's why I had us work into the back loops, the back bumps of that foundation chain, because it leaves this V or stitches at the bottom, which makes it easier for us to work into. So to begin, we're going to chain 3, and then into that first stitch right there, we're going to go in there with a double crochet. So the chain 3 will act like our first double crochet. Following this, so it's like we have 2 double crochets now. So following this, we're going to chain 2, and then into that same stitch we place that double crochet. We're going to place 2 more double crochets, and then we're going to skip that next stitch, and into that following stitch we're going to do the very same thing, 2 double crochets, followed by chain 2 and 2 more double crochets into that same stitch. You're going to skip the next stitch, and into the next one you're going to repeat that same thing, 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So you're going to do this going all the way around your top, and so far this is what our ruffles are looking like. So I'm going to go all the way around, and so are you, and after you've reached the end I will meet you there so I can show you how we get started on the second row of our ruffles. So after the end of that row, this is what your work should be looking like so far. So you're going to find the top of that chain 3, so that's 1, 2 and 3, and you slip stitch. That's the first chain 3 you made, and then you're gonna find, you're gonna find the top of that double crochet, the first double crochet you made, slip stitch, and then you're gonna slip stitch into that chain 2 space. That's as we've completed the first row of the ruffles, and this is what it's looking like. And then we chain 3. That's gonna count as our first double crochet. And into that chain 2 space you're going to go in with a double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets, and that's how we start a new row. So you're going to continue placing these double crochets, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets on top of the chain 2 spaces. Just like that, and then you're going to find that next chain 2 space and place another ruffle, 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets, just like that. So you want to repeat this going all the way around. Once you reach the end, slip stitch into that third chain, slip stitch into the top of that chain, double crochet, and then slip stitch into that chain 2 space, chain 3 and repeat. And you're going to do this for a total of however many rows you want, but for this size, which is size small, I did a total of 6 rows for the ruffles. as you can see, to count them I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I count the little diamondy or V spaces that you can see. And so just do that a total of 6 rows, and for the rest of the top I'm going to be explaining off this one that I've already made because it's super easy from now on. So after you've done your top, you want to try it on and see where you want your straps to be. After you've located where you want your straps to be, you're gonna obviously you want to lay your top like this so that that seam is at the very back. So like that, and then you want to place a stitch marker or stitch markers where you want your straps to be. So if I want a strap to be here, I'll place a stitch marker here and another one corresponding on the other side, and you do the very same thing on this side. And then you're gonna get your yarn. Obviously after you're done, you're gonna cut it off, so you're gonna get your yarn and connect it to the stitch right here, and you're gonna make a chain that goes from here over your shoulder to the other side. And you want to make sure you're trying your top on to see that the chain fits perfectly fine, because if that chain is too long, your top is going to end up being an off shoulder top, but you want the straps to rest on your shoulder. Unless you want them to fall down, that's all up to you. So after you've made that chain, you're going to slip stitch into the other side where you have that stitch marker. After you've done that, you're going to go into the back bumps of that chain, placing single crochets. So that first row down here was a row of single crochets. After you've reached the bottom here with the single crochets, you're going to turn, chain 3, and then into that first stitch or first single crochet you place a double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets so that we can place these ruffles. And after, you'll be skipping a stitch and placing another ruffle into that next stitch, just as we were doing for the bottom ruffles. So you're gonna do this all the way the length of your strap. If you want to have more rows for the top or for the ruffles on the top, feel free to do so. I was absolutely fine with just 1 row. So after you've done that for this side, you want to repeat the same thing for the other strap. So this fancy part of the chest, this is absolutely optional, but what you want to do is make a long chain, not too long, just about as long as you want the top to be. So I just chained 100, and I believe that should be absolutely fine. If you're a slightly larger size, you just want to add about 10 or 20 more for your size, because this ended up being quite a bit long, more than I wanted. So if I was to do it again, I might have chained 70 or 80 or somewhere like that. So after you've made the chain, let me just pull this out so that we can do it together. After you have made your chain, it's just literally a chain, and you can cut. If you want to make it more fancy, feel free to add beads at the bottom right here. So after you've done that, you want to locate the center of your top. You can try it on and see where your center is. This is my center of the top. So I'm just gonna insert my hook from one side and pull through the end of one end of that chain, and then I'll insert my hook on the other side and pull in the other side. So you want to make sure it levels up just like that. And now all you're gonna do is pull it in, pull that chain through. You just find a random hole on the top and pull it through just like that. And you want to do the same thing for the other side. And then you want to pull it out from the inside like so with your chain. And as you do that, you want to do the very same thing for the other side. And then you want to pull it in. Again, you're going to do this until halfway through your top. And the same for the other side. And this should be the last time or you can continue until you feel satisfied. So just like that. And then you want to hold on to this too and just tag it on the top. Just like that, and you can make your little bow. I honestly feel like it would look even cuter if I had beads at the bottom down here, but that's for next time. So after you've done that, you will now just grab your scissors and cut off this excess tails down here, and your crochet top is all done. Go on, give it a try, and be sure to post pictures in our Facebook group. If you're not in our Facebook group, then be sure to find that link in the description box below. If I didn't put it there, just let me know in the comment in case I forgot. If you're not on Facebook, you can always tag me on Instagram at Sitn'Crochet. It's not with an N, it's with an and, so it's Sitn'Crochet on Facebook, on Instagram, sorry. So guys, until next time, be sure you give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you in the next tutorial.